everyone, what's up? This is Simon from the Ionic Academy. In this quick one, I will show you how you can integrate the CropperJS library into your Ionic app. So that means we will be able to capture an image, load this into our Cropper canvas area, and then perform different operations like flipping it around, rotating it, zooming in, and all the operations you might expect from a regular image, whatever. Conversion tool, no, not conversion, editing tool. So it's actually pretty easy to implement, so let's get started. I've created a blank new Ionic app, and the first thing you're gonna need to install is the actual Angular CropperJS library. So CropperJS is a library itself, but of course for Angular we always need a little wrapper around so we can more easily use those things. If you want to capture an image from your camera, of course, you also need the Cordova camera plugin. Perhaps we will see this in the end, but while we're developing the app, we could also try to test the functionality out using an image that is hosted somewhere. Perhaps this will make the development a bit easier. And of course, make sure to install the Ionic native camera as well. Then I'll go ahead and start my lab in the background. But for now, we can already go to our app module and import the camera from @Ionic native camera, which goes straight to the array of our providers. And then my Ionic lab command is ready as well. So let's bring this in here. And we will soon be able to see something. But first of all, we also need the CropperJS Angular module. And this one goes directly to the imports for your module. And there's one thing you need to be aware of, and that is if you build for iOS, you have to edit some permissions. And the best way to do this is by going to your config XML and then specifying these little two blocks, which will basically edit the plist file. So there's a file with some keys for iOS and the Xcode project, and we need to set the NS camera usage description and the NS photo library usage description. So if you don't have those keys set, your app on iOS will crash. You will not be able to upload it to iTunes Connect, and in general, you have to set this if you want to release your app at some point, which I think should be your final goal. All right, let's continue with the implementation for the CropperJS. So what we need in here is, first of all, a reference to a view child that we will create, and we will call this Angular Cropper. And this will be public Angular CropperJS component, and the import follows perfectly. So of course we need our camera as well, so import that one as well. Then we can specify all kinds of options, and we will just do a few of them. So create this object and we will set it later. Then we of course want to export the final cropped image, so we will have it as a base 64 string in the end that you can use for whatever you want to do with it. And first, before starting, we will have to capture an image that we can store to my image. And then there's some properties that we might set before, just because we cannot, or I didn't find a way to retrieve them from the cropper, so we will take care of maintaining the status of the scale factor in here. So regarding the options, as I said, there are quite a bunch of options you can set. I've just added a few so that we can move, zoom, scale, start with a little automatic crop, aspect ratio, drag mode. You can check out all the things inside the quick win link below this video, and the link to the GitHub page for more cropper options. So then we need the capture image function. I'll bring this in because this is just plain image capturing stuff. So basically we will capture an image, return a base64 string from the camera, and when we capture the image we set it to our image, and we will later connect the cropper component to my image so that we can use the captured image to for the cropping. Alright, I could write all of the next functions, but let me bring them in because they are just too easy and it's enough to talk about them. Basically, we can reach the CropperJS component directly through our Angular cropper. And there you can find, I don't know if I got it open somewhere. Nope, of course not. All the functions. So reset, clear, rotate, first three. I think it's clear. Reset will reset the general cropping to the start. Clear will clear out the whole view. Then we might be able to zoom in. So zoom in will always go a little more deep in or out depending on the bool that we will pass to this function. And again, we simply call cropper.zoom. Alright, scaling also possible in all directions. I just added the scale X and Y. You can combine this into one function, I'm pretty sure, so just standard scaling. Of course, if you want to, you can also move the stuff around with the two variables to the left, right, up and down. And finally, perhaps the most important, let's move this one to the top, is the save function. It's already closed here. So this one will convert the cropper, which has a canvas, to a data URL with some settings, and then we set our actual cropped image to this base64 string that you could then use for whatever API calls, submitting it, saving it to your storage, whatever it is. Just use this base64 string. So there we go. And now, oh, my lab is running, I forgot. Of course, by now there shouldn't be anything in here. So let's go to the home screen. And for the header area, I created just a few buttons, and there will follow a lot more buttons. So our reset button, the clear button, and the save button are, in our example, in the top bar. And within the content, for real image capturing, we need another function that calls capture image. And we only want to display this button if we're not having an image yet. So capture image. And then perhaps the most interesting part is actually the Angular cropper. And this one needs the ID Angular cropper as we're accessing it as a view child from our TS file. And the cropper options that we've just specified inside our TS file. I hope I spelled it correctly, yes. So it will load the cropper options we've set previously. It will use the image URL. Doesn't matter if this is a base64 string, works perfectly in this case. And also we only want to display it if we have an image. So this is our Angular cropper, and I will make a second version of this using another image URL. So I will directly use this image. Can I open it? So this is from the testing library. I think you know her. Anyway, we can directly use this image to try out our functionality. So let's do a bit more in terms of operations. And again, all those buttons should only be displayed if we have an image to work with. Or perhaps in my case, I could leave it out because otherwise we cannot test this. I'll leave it out for now and put it here. So remember to put this in if you're testing it on a real device then. Let's add the first 4 columns. So zoom in with true, zoom in with false, and rotate will rotate by 90 degrees. Those are our first 3 buttons. and perhaps it's now time to check out how the app looks like. All right, pretty much has already happened. So we see the image we've previously saw. We can reset, of course, nothing will happen. We can clear out everything. So in that case, the cropping is more or less over, or you can start it again in that case from somewhere. So you can zoom in to get the ear or whatever. You can, of course, zoom out, and we can already rotate the image by 90 degrees. And we can save it, but we're not displaying the result yet. So if we reset, we're back here. Works already pretty good, but we can do more. So next to is scale in 2 directions, and let's give them a try. So a little scale and another one. Looks kind of weird now, but still works totally fine as expected. And now to the last 4 functions. Those are, let me format this a bit. The move functions, so up, down, left and right, just the different values. And in terms of our image, this will now look like whoop, whoop, and flip and up and down. So everything's working just like expected. All right, so finally we now need to display the final cropped image, and we're already storing the base64 string. So let's call this my result. And then within Ion card content, what is the right one? I think this. We can use the source we've created and set it to the cropped image. So hopefully we can now work on this cool image. We can zoom in, move it a bit around, and just focus on the eye. Okay, and then hit save. And we see as a result, we get only the cropped area. Oh, we can actually zoom with a mouse wheel. I wasn't aware of that. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it. We could now also deploy this to a device, and then we would have the real image capturing using capture image. But I think for now, this is enough to show what we want to do. So the CropperJS library is a really awesome extension if your app is working with images and you want to give your users or clients or whatever some possibility to work on the image they've captured, because the standard operations are pretty limited, and those operations we've seen here have almost everything you need, like zooming, scaling it around, and flipping it. So it's really easy to implement. I hope you've seen this. I don't know how long this image is, this video, 30 minutes or so. It's super quick to implement and quite handy to use. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to my channel, of course, for more great Ionic videos, and also check out the ionicacademy.com that is hosting this quick win, the best platform to learn Ionic with video courses, projects, and an awesome community. So I'll see you inside the community, hopefully pretty soon. Stay tuned for the next video and have a great day.